Hey guys, it's Laura with Noble Nugget Stained Glass. Back with you guys for another tutorial on how I use the Silk Screen paste by Colorline. This is 119 black. On how I make my images onto stained glass that are permanent, won't fade away, scratch, wash away, any of that. This stuff is the best. They have multiple colors that kind of showed you in our previous videos. This video, however, is just another way to apply this paste onto glass, which without using essentially the silk screen method. This is just kind of easier, quicker way to do it. Still, the results are fabulous. I'll show you guys after I fire it and burn it what it looks like, the end result. But yeah, just a quick video. If you want to see kind of the full process on how I essentially get my pattern, so my stencil from the Cricut all the way to the glass and a full-blown video, check out my other ones. And again, for some of the other ways to apply this this paste, they have multiple different colors. Check out my other videos. But for now, this is kind of another way to do it. But I already started off. I basically have my stencil pre-cut out on the Cricut. This is just a custom order window that I got that is going into an office store. So what I'm doing right now is just kind of burnishing the back of the vinyl onto the transfer tape. This is the transfer tape that I used. I don't even know if they make this brand Contact anymore, but I like this because I have a huge roll of it. It's really old and it makes it so it's not like super sticky and a pain to get off. But yeah, so I just kind of cut the contact paper a little bit bigger than my stencil, so I have kind of a good spot to separate it from the vinyl. Okay, so this part takes a little bit of kind of eyeballing and patience, but here's my glass. I already cut it out and grinded it so everything's nice and smooth. These little black markers I put on there as a guide to kind of see where I should put my stencil at for the image that I want. This will make more sense once it's done. But so yeah, I'm gonna kind of do my best to eyeball it, because once the stencil's on there, that's about it. You can essentially rip it off and start over. One good thing about this paint is it wipes off. Like if you make a mistake or you're not happy with how your placement of your stencil or something, you're just not happy with it, you can literally just take a paper towel, wet paper towel, and basically start over. So yeah, you lose a little bit of paint, but you can get it perfect. It's not going to mess up the glass. The only time it's permanent is when you fire it. So okay, so we got that. We got our stencil. Now I'm going to try and take the backing off without losing the details on our vinyl. This is not my strong suit, so bear with me as I get this corner off here. So just kind of do it slowly. Take your time. Make sure we're not. Oh, yep. See how it's kind of peeling up there? I don't want to lose that quite yet, so I usually just kind of push it back down, kind of re-burnish over that tough spot, and then just start lifting again. I'm gonna wait to weed everything that I don't want the paint to be when I have it on my actual glass. Some people, you can weed it now. There's no harm in that. It might be easier actually. That way you can kind of see what you're doing, but yeah, no right or wrong way. So just take your time. If you see it lifting, go back and kind of re-burnish it. Again, this is not my strong suit. This is a lot of patience, but so here we go. Just kind of, it's that same little spot's giving me a little bit of trouble, so burnish it down really good. Hopefully this time was a go. Let's see. Yeah, that's looking better. So I'm gonna keep peeling it all the way off, all the way, all the way, all the way. It's looking good. Oh, and this little piece is coming up now, so same thing, just push it back down. No rush, kind of re-squeegee this on there. And just peel it off. Yep, same little spot. Now it's getting all sticky, that's okay. So, yeah, I noticed you can't be in a hurry to do this. Just nice and patient. Re-burnish it. Alright, maybe try from a different approach, like this way down. Nope, it's still doing it. Alright, no big deal. Re-burnish this nicely. There we go. Okay. So try a different approach here. I don't know. Is it just me, you guys, that this happens? But I think just being patient and giving it as many goes as it takes to get her done there. There we go. This looks better. So we're getting there. Okay. So we got the backing off, which is good. I'm just gonna get that out of the way. Okay. Now my hands are sticking to it. Okay. So, normally in my previous videos, again, if you want to see the whole process on how you get essentially your vinyl, your pattern, your piece that you want painted onto the glass, if I'm doing the silk screen method with, you know, the whole, all that process, you would want to mirror the image. In this case, I didn't mirror it because I'm doing this the other way, a new kind of easier, faster way. So it's just a regular image, it's not mirrored or anything. All right, now that we got our transfer tape, or I'm sorry, our backing off of our vinyl, you basically flip it over. I have these little marks here, and up here you can kind of see to help guide me where I want this vinyl to go, the stencil basically. So I'm just gonna it's gonna take some time, so I'm gonna have to probably get in some weird angles here. So forgive me while I get this situated. But yeah, just I know that this little piece is gonna align with this dot and the tail is gonna kind of go here. So yeah, just kind of bear with me until I get this, and then I will show you guys the next step. Okay, so guys, so I think I got it positioned as best as I possibly can. Now is when I'm going to basically burnish the stencil down pretty well, because this is where I don't want bubbles or any kind of air, because that's where potentially some paint could kind of seep through, and that's what we don't want. And obviously when you're lifting the transfer tape up, you don't want your pattern, your stencil to come out in pieces either. So these little air bubbles, that's okay. We're just gonna kind of push them to the edge, get them out of there. All the way to the edge I don't really care about too much, because that's where we don't want paint to get there anyway, right? And the stencil kind of goes out there. So just kind of burnish it down as best you can. Really focusing on the areas where the actual, you know, stencil is, your design. So yeah, it kind of took me a little bit long to figure out the exact placement on the glass where I wanted the stencil, but I'm sure there's an easier way to do this with like kind of registration marks or something like that. But hey, you know, it's art, so I'm just kind of eyeballing this. And again, the benefit of using, you know, this paste is, worst case, you get your design on there and you're not happy with it, you can essentially start all over. Just get a wet, you know, paper towel and it cleans off really nicely. Same with getting, you know, on your hands or anything like that. I usually, you know, I usually wear gloves when I apply it. You don't have to. It's just more, you know, to keep the mess contained, but it washes off everything really nicely with just water. So, okay, let's give this a shot. The next step is basically I want to get this transfer tape off my stencil and leave the vinyl behind. So I'm just going to basically pick up and this is why, again, I make my transfer tape a little bit larger than the actual stencil. It just helps it so it's easier to peel off and you got a corner to work with. So here we go, here's my little spot. I'm just going to slowly, and just like in that first step, you know, if you see your stencil lifting with it, just kind of take your time. And, you know, if you have to burnish it back down, then that's all right. So here we go. I'm starting to get to where my actual image is. Here you can see kind of, let's see if the camera's picking it up, but you can kind of see that's where it starts. I got some air bubbles, but we'll fix that in a minute. So just, you know, slowly kind of have to put my hand here and push the stencil down as I'm peeling away this transfer tape. Again, I really like this kind. It's older. It's not as sticky as, you know, kind of like the other brands of transfer tape, but this is what I got, so it's what I'm using. So far, it's looking pretty good. And just keep going all the way to the edge. Perfect. So this might look like a big waste of sheet, and you can reuse it, you know, so if you save the backing that it came from, you know, this stuff, I can essentially, you know, use this a couple more times until it's had its life, but it's not a complete waste. You just kind of put it here for now, and then don't worry about that in a little bit. But yeah, you can basically reuse, you know, this transfer tape for a couple uses before it loses all its sticky. All right, so now we're at kind of the fun part where we almost get to use our paste. Okay, next step, and again, you could have done this earlier. I'm gonna do it now just because it's already on the glass, but here's where you kind of really want to get those air bubbles out. So if you see any, just kind of push them to the edge. Like here's a big one, just there you go. See how when it gets to the edge, it kind of allows the air to escape out of there. Just push them all the way up. There we go. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, but the less little bubbles, the less chance that, you know, something's gonna seep through. So, yeah, if there's some, you know, it is what it is. Okay, so now, in this case, for my design, is where I'm gonna do the weeding. You could do this ahead of time and then kind of transfer tape, put it on your design, but I'm doing it now just because for me it's a little bit easier just to do, you know, the transfer tape all in one thing, one go, and then kind of weed it on here, because this, you know, the nice thing with this vinyl is it sticks to the glass nicely. However, you can still do all your weeding you need to do before it gets too crazy on there. So really the only thing that I don't want black are these windows, I believe, in my my design, and also these little dots right here. So I want this white, the windows white, everything else can be black. So let's start and basically kind of pick up a point here. Again, you're weeding everything that you want where you want the paint to be. So I want that window to stay on there. There we go, that's working out nicely. I'm just kind of helping along. Okay, kind of up here is going to be a little bit tricky. Sorry, I'm getting in the way of the camera. But yeah, just kind of help it along. If it gets stuck there, just whoop, lift it up. Perfect. Kind of get it out of the way. Again, just help it along, nice and slow. Because again, this is one of those slower processes you don't really want to rush, right? So we're gonna keep peeling along. We're gonna get to some of these little circles that I want to stay, so just kind of push it down with your finger and then see if it, there we go, yep, one stayed. That one stayed, and there's one more little circle. Perfect, that guy stayed on there. Let's get this top piece kind of ripped up. And this is where some people might say weeding it beforehand is a little bit easier, but again, there's no right or wrong. You know, whatever works for you. This way it works for sure. I think both do. So I'm just kind of going along, peeling it, because everywhere where I'm peeling is where I want the tape to go. So just keep going along. And it's easier where there's kind of like nice long spots, like this spot should kind of peel up nicely. Here's, you know, kind of help this one along because it goes up a little bit. And you can use your tool to help you, you know, if it's kind of like a weird turn in the design, so. Just gonna keep on going. Keep on lifting it. We're almost there. Nice and patient like so. This little spot kind of got away from us, but that's alright. Use your tool and just keep going along. And keep lifting it up. There we go. Get this little guy out of there. Almost done. Alright. And we're almost on a straightaway here. Let's see. Yep. So this looks good. Just kind of keep peeling it along. Almost to the edge of our design here. Just kind of sometimes wiggling it along helps it to kind of release. There you go, all the way. Now it's going to kind of curve up. There's a little bit more circles in here that I actually want it to stay, so I kind of burnish that down a little bit with my finger again. It's just like a tiny little circle. Kind of adds to the detail, so cool. I can see it staying. Let's kind of get this part going. This kind of has all kind of little weird, you know, turns and stuff. So again, just take your time. Kind of move that out of the way. Help this part along. Kind of get under there with your tool and just lift it up. There we go. And follow it along. Looks like it goes up. I'll get this little piece down here because it kind of makes another weird turn. And just kind of get all this up. Here we go. Okay. We're almost there. Almost to the edge here, guys. Okay. And this kind of goes all the way up like like that. Oh, all right, there we go. That's it. So, again, you could have weeded that ahead of time. It doesn't really matter. But you can kind of see now this is what the design looks like. Where there's white, obviously will stay white glass, and then everything else will be the paint. Okay, now we're going to be on to the next step, which is the fun part. We're going to apply this Silk Screen Colorline paste, the black 119. Again, there's multiple ways to do this. My previous videos, I showed you guys kind of one of the best ways to do it, which is actually using the Silk Screen. But you don't have to. I'm just kind of showing you guys. You can do it this way. It's a kind of quicker, easier way, faster, and the results are really good. I'll show you guys the end result once this is done and kind of fired in the kiln and what it looks like. So, okay, let's just get right to it. So what we're gonna need now is our paste and a brush. I like to use kind of like one of these little dabby brushes. And this is where it gets a little bit messy. So if you want to wear the gloves to do this, you can. And it's kind of why I have a nice big kind of thing that I can just roll up and throw away, because it's paint. It can get places that we don't really want it to. So, all right, so let's get to it. Let's get going with the paste here. So yeah, nothing crazy. I'll move this out of the way so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. But yeah, we already got the air bubbles out of here. Try not to touch the glass too much. You don't want fingerprints on there when you fire it. So just kind of open this up. Okay, you can kind of see what the paste looks like. It's not too runny or anything, but it is still, liquid. So I'm gonna set this over here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Probably right there. Okay. All right, so really what I'm gonna do is just kind of dab or brush in here and get it nice and coated on the bottom so it's even. You don't want too big of blobs. And then I usually kind of go like this on the top part of the lid, just so I don't waste too much paint. And make sure this sponge is really, coated pretty well. And then that's it. Then we're literally just gonna dab, dab, dab. Okay. You don't want to go over it too much because again, it's a stencil, and you want to avoid kind of the bleeding. But yeah, we're just gonna go all the way along our design. Okay. And you can see, guys, the coverage on this paste is really good. When it fires, there's no spots. It's covered really well. I'm really impressed with this paint. So just keep going all the way where there's no stencil. Just dab, dab, dab. I try and go straight up and down. Again, it kind of minimizes any kind of bleeding. And those little papers are going to be a pain to find, but that's okay. And we'll get there. Just dab, dab, dab. And you want to make sure everything is, everywhere is got some paint on there. Because once you take the stencil off, that's it. Any kind of touch-ups you'll have to do by hand or, kind of start over, like I said, if you're not happy with something. So kind of take your time, make sure you're really dabbing that paint in there. And you can kind of see like it almost leaves a texture. That's kind of the differences between a using the silk screen versus this, you know, quicker method. But when it fires, guys, it kind of smooths everything out, so I'm not too worried about these little, you know, the texture that the sponge leaves. And if anything, it kind of adds to my design a little bit on this helicopter, because helicopters are, you know, they got that texture to it in the paint anyway. But like I said, when it fires, it's usually pretty smooth. Not too worried about the texture here. So just kind of keep going all the way around. Again, you want really good coverage. Take your time, make sure you got everything. So this vinyl, if you want, I can link everything down below, the stuff that I used. But really, in this case, I think I used a permanent vinyl. You can use removable. It doesn't matter. I think the removable actually might be a little bit easier to peel off. And you still get really good results. Like there's no seeping or anything like that. But this is what I had. I had a huge roll of this Teckwrap kind, and it works perfectly. So now I'm kind of at the point where I'm just going over everything again. Again, you don't want to go too much because yeah, you just kind of risk seepage every time you push down. So just nice light dabs, kind of get everything nice, even. We're just really making sure we got everything kind of covered at this point. Okay, so and I'm always adding more paint because I don't want the sponge to take anything away from it when I'm dabbing like this. So yeah, be pretty liberal with the paste. I think we're on the final stretch, guys, so it's looking good. I don't really see any areas that I missed. Everything looks pretty. Pretty well coated. And like I said, worst case, you know, you peel it up and you find a spot that you missed or whatever. You can kind of touch it up with hand if you need to, or, you know, if it's a huge area, you could probably use the sponge again, but I think we're looking pretty good. Everything looks nice and dabbed pretty well. Okay, so that's it for this step. I'm just gonna move everything aside and kind of close up our paste so it doesn't dry out. But I've used this paste forever. It's been in the closet for a couple of months now, and it still, as you can see, works just as good as I got it from day one. So this stuff is really good, guys. Just kind of seal it up nice and tight. Okay. So yeah, you guys can see I actually got a little bit of paint on the glass there, no big deal. Like I said, this stuff wipes off really well with just, you know, a paper, kind of a damp wet paper towel. So what I'm doing now is just kind of letting it air dry for a little bit. I don't want to wait too long because I feel like the longer that this vinyl sits on, the harder it's going to be to peel off. Again, this is just a different way to do it. This method, typically I'll do the silk screen method where you don't have to worry about things sticking. You can just squeegee it on and go. But again, this is just a different way to do it. If you don't, you know, even if you don't have one of those silk screens. So yeah, I am just gonna wait a little bit, let this dry up a little, give my hands a wash so you guys can see, you know, it gets there. So just kind of wash up, and if you got paint somewhere you didn't want, it's a good time to get it off. So I will be right back. Give my hands a wash, and by the time I come back, this should be, you know, again, a couple minutes or so. Let it air dry, so there's not huge big piles of paste there when I go to tear this off. So by the time I wash my hands, I think we'll be good to go for the next step. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. So, yeah, I mean, you can see everything cleans up nice and well. I'm gonna take the time to actually clean this little spot off real quick. Just kind of, here we go. And we can kind of do finishing touches up at the end too when everything's off. All right, moment of truth, guys. Let's see. I mean, it's probably only been, you know, a minute, 2 minutes. But all my blabbing, probably more like 5 or so. So let's see what this looks like. So again, kind of the same process as all the other stuff with dealing with vinyl. Just take your time. Nice, slow, deliberate kind of peels. And then, yeah, I like to hold the glass down. I'm actually thinking about peeling it maybe from this way. I'm thinking. Yeah, we'll just do it this way, because I can get a good corner of the good grip of the glass here. So here we go. Just peel, hold pressure down onto the glass. And kind of that wiggle technique is good here too. Just helps loosen the stickiness of the vinyl. And just keep going. You guys can see it so far, it's given some nice crisp lines. Again, you can touch it up with, you know, if something big chunk peels off or something like that, you can kind of touch it up with like a toothpick. Works pretty well. Just be careful not to touch the, you know, that part of the paint. It's sticking pretty good, so I'm having to put some, whoa, some pressure on there. That was fast. But it's looking okay. Yeah, and your hands are gonna get, you know, pretty funky from this. So see how I'm just kind of wiggling it along, kind of really helps it along here. And I mean, I know I'm gonna have to go back through and peel some parts off, and that's okay. I'm just trying to get the bulk of it off. Gotta be careful towards the edge here. And just push down and peel up. It's moving along pretty good, I'd say. Just keep moving it along. Boop. Okay, so we got the majority of it off. See, and where it kind of gets stuck, just keep on going, right? So this little piece, I'll just keep on going. Look at that, pretty good. So far it's looking all right, guys. I can see where there's some spots, like right here, there's still some tape. So to kind of help get that separated, you're just gonna want to take your tool and just lift up, kind of get it going. Okay. Again, hold it down, and if you got a big enough tab, this where you can take your hands and just keep on going, just like we did the other side. So nice firm pressure. Okay, there we go. Looks pretty good. And I got a paper towel to kind of help my hands along here. So we're getting there. Getting there. This is just a little, I don't know what that is, a little fuzzy or something. Just okay. Looks like we got a little piece here. So I'll move this down so you guys can see it. Kind of flip it a little bit. Okay. So same thing, just kind of get your tool under there and just big enough that you can slide your finger in to lift it out. Looks pretty good. And same thing. Just slide your fingers under there. Lift it up. All right. I think we're almost to the home stretch here. If you guys can remember, there was spots where I didn't want the paint, right? Like up here by the windows. And I think there's some dots under there. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is take our tool again, and I can kind of see where, you know, the frame of the window is. And again, like here by the nose, like if you get some little bit of seepage, that's okay. Like for the most part, look how crisp and clear these lines are. That's why I'm really impressed with this silk screen paste. It applies really nicely. And again, this is just using, you know, a cheap old dab sponge. So yeah, I'm really impressed with the quality of that paint. So, okay, so yeah, we're at the point where we can try and squeeze under here. I'm gonna lift up as best I can, get a little air pocket, and just lift it up. Okay, just enough where I can get my hand under there. And same thing, just grab it and peel it off. Cool, that one's done. And we got one more window behind there. And then I think there's a little spot right here and a couple little more dots that we'll get to. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I can kind of see the outline of the window. Basically kind of goes like around here. So I just kind of start near the center and push and then start lifting up. Yep. This one's on there pretty good, so there we go. Kind of loosen it away. I got enough that I can lift it with my fingers. See, and pretty good crisp lines, right? So I'm really happy with that. I think we got one more kind of area where there should be white, which is right around in here. And then we got a few by where the gun is. So I'll try and get those out. But yeah, we're on the home stretch here. So I think I see it right here. Same thing, just lift it up. And perfect, comes right out. So yeah, that's it guys. I'm going to wait for it to dry maybe a little bit more and then try and get these really tiny little dots. I think there's about 3 here and there's one down here out. And then some of the, you know, or touch-ups I can kind of go along, you know, some of these little, I think it's just kind of like dried paint, kind of blow it off and kind of really crisp it up. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Yeah, I'll show you guys, kind of clean up. These are my little registration marks that I had earlier. I'm gonna get rid of those. It's just a permanent marker that I used. Alcohol would work really well, but yeah, I think it looks really, really good. I think there's a little dab here in the window that I kind of want to get out. Looks like I kind of got it. But yeah, here, let me show you guys. Kind of in close up. Look at how crisp those lines are. And again, any kind of like, maybe up here where the antenna is, this little spot right there. Literally just take a, toothpick or a wooden dowel or something like that, and it scratches right off, comes right out. So, really good quality stuff. When it fires, that texture is pretty much gone. It's nice and smooth, and the coverage is exactly how it looks. Like, you're not going to see anything but black, which is really nice. So yeah, I'm going to put this in the kiln and fire it. I've had success around, I think I did my pieces around 1350 for, just hold that for a couple minutes and then ramp it back down. The actual, instructions say anywhere from 1290 to 1500 to fire it at, and that'll make it nice and permanent. Like I said, I've had success. I think I shoot for right in the middle, like around 1330, 1350, right around there, and it comes out nice every time, nice and shiny and really good. So yeah, I will get this in the kiln and I will show you guys what it looks like when it's done.